Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to Simblified, our little attempt to help make you, the dear listener, sound smarter than you really are. Or in case you are already smarter than us, a likely scenario, you may become slightly dumber, but definitely more entertained.
Yeah, you could say that we are like the K-serial of the podcasting world. Annoying and silly, but once you're hooked, you just can't let go.
And before we lose any more listeners, I, along with my esteemed co-hosts Chuck and Naren, would like to wish all our listeners a very happy new year.
I have no idea what that was.
We hope you have health, happiness, leg pieces in biryani, full bars of network with 4G, no search for Uber, no buffering for YouTube, world peace, full pressure in toilet jets, and an unlimited supply of 100 rupee notes or whatever legal tender we may have in 2017.
I like how we went from world peace to bumps pressure, because at Simplified we cover all the issues that really matter. And I'm very tempted to actually bring out a technical point here, because if the pressure is too much, there's a lot of unpleasant things can happen. But I won't.
This is a Simplified episode waiting to be made.
Yes.
Naren, what were your New Year celebrations?
Well, I was at home. I celebrated with family, and I've as most of you probably know, I have given up drinking, and I realized what a sharabi people think I am, because whenever I tell people I am not drinking anymore, they go, "What? You stop?" like I wake up at 7 in the morning and start glugging booze. Yeah. So, but it was good time, quality time with the family. Both my sons were here for a change. They study in different colleges, and it was good fun.
How about you?
Yeah, we had a pretty good New Year celebration. You would know, Chuck, considering you were there.
Together.
And unfortunately, Naren, you couldn't join us.
Yeah.
There is still alcohol in my fridge with your name written on it. But
Engraved on it, the bottles are like...
I know. Now we'll have to figure a way to get rid of all of them. But don't worry, we should be able to do that.
An IV drip delivered to Malad might be the best way.
These days, I delight in telling people who come from abroad to get me nimbu pani from the duty free.
Yes.
Some people are very nonplussed. Yeah,
okay. What resolutions have you made, Naren? The usual?
Well, the usual. So, meta resolutions, resolution not to make any resolution, resolution not to make any resolution, saying that I won't make resolution. But my biggest resolution actually, which I a little while before the episode I sort of broke, is not to laugh at any stupid jokes by Chuck.
What?
But he made me laugh all the same. So yeah, that's
I think
one
we'll
resolution.
lose about 45% of the content of our show then.
No, but Chuck has this talent for making really groaner joke.
Thanks.
Which every fiber of your being says that you're supposed to pick up a hard object and beam him with it, but you can't help laughing.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm really happy with I'm very fond of the audio medium, but it definitely has one fault in some way, where it does not convey face palms with like the gravitas that it deserves.
Oh yeah.
So
I think that moment of silence is actually what...
My favorite passage on New Year's Day is that master wordsmith Mark Twain, which goes, "New Year's Day, now is the accepted time to make your regular annual good resolution. Next week you can begin paving hell with them as usual." Yesterday everyone smoked his last cigar, took his last drink, as I did, and swore his last oath. Today we are a pious and exemplary community.
Wow.
30 days from now, we shall have cast our reformation to the winds and gone to cutting our ancient shortcomings considerably shorter than ever. We shall also reflect pleasantly on how we did the same old thing last year about this time. However, go in, community. New Year's is a harmless annual institution of no particular use to anybody, save as a scapegoat for promiscuous drunks and friendly calls and humbug resolution, and we wish you to enjoy it with a looseness suited to the greatness of the occasion.
Wow. Mark Twain, the man who said it's very easy to give up smoking. I have done it hundreds of times.
And also the man who gave the quotation that really should apply to all of us here on Simplified, that it is better to hold your silence and be assumed a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt altogether.
Fantastic what you're saying. So actually, if we record a blank episode episode, the quality will actually be better than any.
That will be the wisest simplified.
I guess.
Did you know, incidentally, that Mark Twain spent some time in Bombay giving talks?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so there was a time in
DJ
Mark
Sangri College of
Twain's
Engineering.
close. So he around the turn of the century, I don't remember the exact date, and he was broke for some reason, and he had creditors to meet.
These
So some
hippie backpackers coming to our shows.
So rich guy put him onto a boat, brought him to Bombay, and it was whites only those days. So wherever whites congregated, Mark Twain went and gave a little speech.
Goregaon.
Yeah, Goregaon.
But Naren, the important question is, did you try to attend?
Thank you.
Turn of which century exactly? Anyway, okay. So this episode is a continuation of the review of the gallon of Gobar that was 2016. 2016, the year that put the Veri in January, the Brr in February, the R in March, the Ape in April, Harambe reference there, the A in May, the Oo in June, the Lai in July, the August in August, I'm proud of that one, the Ember in September, the in October, the No in November, the Dick in December, and finally the Ew in Happy New Year. And as you may recall, we did a review of the first half of 2016 in our previous episode, which you can go back and hear. And if you haven't, worry not, because we have a speedy 30-second recap of our recap of the first half of 2016. This recap does not include the Turkish president, which would be a recap of the recap of a recap. Okay. This recap, in fact, is so meta that we have already written a recap of it in the script of our next episode.
Wow. This is, there's this famous book called Gödel Escherbach, written by a guy named Douglas Hofstadter, who talks about recursion, how it occurs in nature and mathematics and in music. And it's a fascinating book, but he does tend to get carried away with the subject of recursion. So somebody said, how do you, what is recursion? So he says, you stand in a queue, you ask the guy in front of you. If he doesn't know, you ask the guy in front, something like that. Yeah. So this is what your
it'd be awesome if the book actually was like repeated 3-4 times within the same volume.
Yeah.
That would be the best way to... okay. Never mind. Anyway, so I think we should just jump into the second half of the year right away. So take it away, Srikeit.
Yeah, so 2016 began something like this. Deaths, floods, nuclear weapon in North Korea, terrorist attacks causing more deaths, Pranada nowadays scoring 1,000 runs, gravitational waves, artificial intelligence, Trump's real intelligence, Trump as well wins some states in the primary, the Panama Papers, more deaths, DiCaprio finally won an Oscar, Leicester City won the Premier League, shocking everyone, Trump said some nutty thing, shocking no one, Sadiq Khan was elected mayor of London, Harambe was killed, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Clinton won the Democratic nomination, Trump won the Republican nomination, Britain won the insanity nomination by voting to Brexit without ever knowing what it meant, the Cleveland Cavaliers finally won the NBA championship, and many more people wished the year would end there because frankly this was bad enough.
But here we are with a full 6 months of 2016 to talk about, and this is the part when things really started to go south.
But despite that, things in July began on a positive note with the NASA spacecraft Juno entering Jupiter's orbit. It was a mission to study Jupiter's composition, gravity field, magnetic field. But what I found really interesting was the project's name, Juno.
Oh, I know. The fact it was named after a popular 2007 movie about teenage pregnancy.
Not exactly, Chuck. It was named Juno after the wife of the Roman god Jupiter. Jupiter, it seems, used to pull a veil of clouds around himself to hide his mischief. But Juno was the only one who could peer through those clouds. So naming the probe for studying the surface of Jupiter was very fittingly Juno.
Wow. It does make me feel somewhat better to know that husbands have been unable to hide any mischief from their wife since ancient times. And very, very clever name. Yeah. So, very clever name. by the way. The other clever names that there's this software for burning CD-ROMs which no one burns anymore.
Yeah. I remember this.
Called Nero Burning ROM.
What a poetically beautiful name.
Yeah, so Juno is close.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the unfortunate states of America, the FBI released more information about Hillary Clinton's emails, calling her handling of the emails careless, but recommended against prosecution.
The FBI releasing Hillary's emails is like Adobe releasing updates. A new one every week or so.
And
the irony is that while the Republicans kept saying that the media was biased for Hillary, a study at the end of the election showed that the email scandal was covered more than all the campaign issues she raised combined.
But this didn't stop Hillary from becoming the Democratic candidate for president, with both Obama and Bernie Sanders' endorsement. By the way, Bernie Sanders today, as the day we record, took a giant printout of a Trump tweet and put it in Parliament. Mashable's title for this was "Bernie Sanders blesses all meme makers on the planet" as one. There's one headline. And another headline was the honorary sixth grader Bernie Sanders.
Alternately Boy Scout.
Anyway, yes, so both Obama and Bernie Sanders reluctantly said, all right, this will have to do for now. It's like when you go to, like when you're really hungry at 1 in the night and you open Zomato or Swiggy, and there's that one shitty restaurant that has very, very bad paneer tikka or something, and this is the last restaurant you would generally order from, but you're starving, so all right. So it's either this or puking up and having to eat that.
There you go.
Yeah. Which is a metaphor for the Republican candidate.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, our favor.
I've heard him being described as the rightful leftover.
So anyway, while Hillary got the Democratic nomination, our favorite tangerine megalomaniac locked up the Republican nomination while the world looked on with morbid amusement.
Like watching a car crash in super slow motion.
Exactly. While on the other hand, in July, in the sporting world, Portugal beat France 1-0 in extra time to win the European Championships.
Yay.
The highlight of this tournament, though, was Iceland, which, egged on by its vociferous and thunderclapping supporters, reached the quarter-final of the tournament.
Wow. And all this for a country with a population smaller than not Maharashtra, not Mumbai, not Andheri, but Bandra West.
Oh God. I mean, I think Bandra West has pretty decent football teams of its own, but unfortunately they have no place to play. But all these topics were just in the background noise of the main highlight of July. The seismic event, which was the most talked about in the world, that mobilized millions who took to the street for the cause and marched for hours tirelessly. Do you guys remember this one?
What? The refugee crisis in Syria?
No, Naren.
Protests against Trump?
Definitely not.
ISIS?
Well, I think we'll just find out the answer after the break, so stick around.
Finding the right drink at the right place can be a big challenge. Exploring a new destination to its fullest could be a daunting task.
So tune in every Friday and listen to the Drinks and Destinations podcast with Rajita and Samira, who introduce you to the world of fine wines, beer, spirits, and travel.
You can subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audioboom, or any other local podcast app.
And we are back, and we are on, and it's a cliffhanger here, folks, as Srikeit runs in to deliver the last ball. That was a drum roll, by the way, by a very budget production that we have. Anyway, yes, so do tell, what is it that had millions?
So, I mean, the most seismic event of July
was,
Naren, of course, Nintendo's augmented reality game, Pokemon Go.
Wow.
The game, Chuck, though, was a phenomenon, being downloaded over 500 million times around
500
the world.
million?
500 million times around the world.
That is the population of Bandra West.
And popularized physical activity, helped local businesses grow because of increased foot traffic. But what is really funny about Pokemon Go is the sudden exodus of normally sedentary people like you and I, Chuck, onto the streets that impacted the world, wondering what these smartphone-staring wanderers were doing. Pokemon Go players noticed and reported crimes, found dead bodies, and revived local historic venues as well.
Yeah, I remember reading one awesome case where a charity actually offered Pokemon Go players dogs that needed to be walked and taken along on their playing trips.
Exactly, and like it was so relevant in that way. But as the norm with 2016, no good thing can ever exist without a truckload of bad to balance it out. People wandered on train tracks, played while driving and caused traffic jams while trying to catch Pokemon. At least 10 people were reported to have died while being distracted. Died while having been distracted playing the game.
The reaction that took the cake, however, was of course from India, where some jobless fellow filed a PIL that showing eggs in the game at places of religious worship was hurting religious sentiments.
It can't be a year in India without somebody's religious sentiments.
Definitely.
I'm sure this has to be a profession. Senior creative offense taker. Every day, find creative new opportunities to take offense. So let's try. I think we should try and invite one of these nutters to come on to Simblified. They'll probably get offended by a brand of AC or something.
Our very pale looking producer Naveen here is violently gesturing for us to move to the next topic. Yeah. So we will quickly move to August.
Yay.
Which began with the grand opening of the Olympics in Brazil.
Oh yeah, those things happened, right?
And though if you take the 2016 tragedy lens to it, the mass protests in Rio against the Olympics happened.
But shouldn't people be happy that the Olympics are being held in their city?
Not really, Naren. Several Olympics have seen local populations protest against the population displacement, use of public funds and environmental destruction caused by the preparation of the games. And in Rio, majority of people were protesting against the blatant corruption and construction of stadiums over favelas or slums, which displays many of the city's poor.
Yeah, and I remember there's actually one stadium constructed for the Rio Olympics, which is so remote that you apparently need some ferry to get there, and it will never be used again.
Yeah.
As in, it's there.
In fact, some of the stadiums in the 2014 Football World Cup right now are being used as parking lots. Because like the football stadiums have no use. They played 3 matches over there, and now the football.
Mildly like that Ram Mandir Road station. Close.
Again, Naveen here is pretty much losing all of his like hair right now as we speak. So, but we move back to the positive, where half man, half dolphin Michael Phelps finally concluded his domination over the world by announcing his retirement after taking his 23rd gold medal in the 4x100 meter medley.
Hence beating a 4,000-year-old record or something.
But this is actually a con job, and you have 4 into 100, 4 into 50, 2 into 100, 2 into 50. You have like won the same bloody activity in 50.
I know, just get in the goddamn pool and swim. No, like finish it once.
Phelps was last seen finalizing plans to set up a gold jewelry empire in Kochi.
I mean, while Mr. Phelps was like finalizing on his entire golden empire, we are here like 1 medal, 2 medal, 3 medal in India, and like really enjoying ourselves with that.
Yep. India, though, after an impressive performance in the previous Olympics, impressive by Indian standards,
exactly,
could only manage 2 medals. And like board exam results in India, it was the women who got the medals. Sakshi Malik in wrestling won the bronze, and PV Sindhu won the silver in badminton, with Deepa Karmakar coming very, very close indeed to winning a medal in the pole vault.
And while PV Sindhu was playing for gold in the final, people in her home states of Andhra and Telangana were googling for not her playing history or past opponents, but her caste.
Yay, India.
And after her silver medal win, politicians of both Andhra and Telangana promptly started fighting over which state she belonged to. Detailed research was put into her parents' birthplace, ancestry and Tatkal bookings as both sides claim victory.
And meanwhile, IOA officials travelled in first class while athletes travelled in economy. And we saw photos of these officials and family members chilling at Copacabana beaches. And I'm talking about the Indian Olympic Association. And all in all, a usual, normal, regular Olympics for India.
Yeah, very.
And on the 2nd of September 2016, an estimated 15 crore Indian public sector workers went on a 24-hour nationwide general strike against Modi's plans for increasing privatization and other economic policies. A total of 10 trade unions participated. Many government-run locations and transportation services were closed.
What? Same old reason?
Yeah, it seems they didn't care for laws that require them to actually work while they do.
But also, was it a success then?
Not really, but it got a lot of traction in states with a long history of not wanting to actually work while drawing a salary, such as Kerala. and West
Yeah.
But it has...
Putting the B in our podcast name.
It has been called the largest strike in human history. That's what
I recall that the unions hailed it as a great success, but resolved that all future strikes would be 8-hour ones from midnight to ensure better participation.
Yeah, because in all other states apart from Kerala and West Bengal, it really fell flat on its face, which was a big... I'm on the other side of the fence, okay? So I constantly observe privileged, overprivileged, protected laborers doing nothing in their factories, going to sleep, and contract workers toiling away without any benefits. We've got the entire gamut of labor legislations completely backward. And personally, I think these guys really do want to do something about it, the present government, but they are unable to.
But also, isn't it like incredible that, I mean, in India, we just need to do something for it to become the biggest in the world ever.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think sometime back, Jimmy Wales had come to India for a wiki conference. We organized a small get-together type of thing, and then bunch of people came. We hired a hall and whatever. And Jimmy Wales walks in and asks, how many people are here? And we were like, just around 2,000 people. I walked in. And he was like, this is pretty much the biggest congregation of Wikipedians ever. And I was like, and we were like, we just opened the doors.
And these 2,000 only from my society.
Yeah, so like random people walking around, koi hai, gora aadmi aaya hai, and they walked in.
But this is what I like about our guys. Everyone else, like they'll be the fastest 100 meters or the best long jump effort or best high jump or something. But Indian guys get to the Guinness Book for longest mustache, biggest fingernails.
I'm telling you, the Olympics don't have the right sports. Now you give us a sport that can somehow emulate the same skill as getting into a local train at Andheri headed to Virar, and I'm telling you, we would dominate the podium over there. We'd shove everybody else off the podium.
There'll be one B team and C team will take the bronze and the silver and the bronze. It'll be a tough fight between the B and C for the silver. Yeah, and of course the other region where we excel is political comedy.
Yeah.
And the prize for the best political comedy of 2016 goes to the state of Arunachal Pradesh. We saw 43 out of 44 legislators leave the Congress party, which was ruling the state, till about 5 minutes before this happened, and joined the People's Party of Arunachal, which was part of the BJP NDA.
Leaving that one person behind saying Papa.
Exactly.
So the only guy left was the Chief Minister, Mr. Nabam Tuki.
Tuki, funnily enough, Tuki in Gujarati means short. This is like the political equivalent of getting bowled by a late in-swinger while ready to shoulder arms, if I've got my cricket analogies right.
You have, and I think we should head for another cricket analogy, we should take a strategic timeout.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Hey guys, this is Malika Singhania, co-founder of the blog Stylogram, where we cover trends, fashion forecasts, celebrity style, tips and tricks, and lots more cool stuff. So tune in every Thursday to the Stylogram podcast, your weekly style telegram, giving you the latest fashion and beauty stories that are relevant to you. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, or any other local podcast app. See you soon.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. And to continue with our recap of the lovely year of 2016, Cyrus Mistry got sacked. Just like that. In the Garden of Eden.
There was no build-up, nothing. Just shoved right out the window.
Yeah. In the Garden of Eden that everyone thought that the Tata Group was. Because, Tata's man. It seemed that Cyrus Mistry was a snake. Except that it also appeared that the snake was Ratan Tata and not Cyrus. Then it turned out that it was Cyrus after all. Whereupon, just as the nation was collectively ahhing in comprehension, wise heads concluded that Cyrus was as pure as the driven snow and the baddie was Tata himself. and so on. So
This is like the case serial that we wanted at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. Everyone schadenfreude to their heart's content.
Wow, I've never heard that in
a verb
verb format before.
And continue to do so since the pendulum is still swinging.
Yeah.
And another nicely swinging pendulum, the Bihar liquor ban.
Oh, God.
So Nitish decided that he wanted to. I don't know what's it with politicians who just decide to. You have like nothing to live in life. All that you have is booze, and the politicians want to take it away. What the hell, man? Yeah, you can't give us roads, you can't give us education, you can't give us hospital, you can't give us jobs, and you don't want to give us booze.
I mean, coming from a state that has famously not had any booze in a long time, I for one strongly recommend it a little bit for everyone.
So
What else happened?
Bihar liquor ban also was penduluming nicely. So first they said ban, then somebody challenged in the High Court, and the High Court said, what nonsense, you can't ban it. And the Supreme Court said, no, you can ban it. So currently it stays banned. Yeah. So, and the other thing which which fizzled out, but when it happened, everyone was really, really alarmed. And everyone said that this is the Archduke Ferdinand moment of, it could start World War III. This guy named Andrei Karlov, the Russian ambassador to Turkey,
Yes, I remember this, yeah.
he got assassinated in Ankara. And that's a huge, it's one of those salads which have like 15 ingredients in it. No, it's one of them Italian dressing, cherry tomatoes, and very rocket leaves and whatever. So yeah.
Thank goodness you didn't say German dressing in there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
So it was everyone just bated breath moment and phew, thank goodness it's like
It passed.
It passed. In other news, a real estate developer got elected to a senior government position in a Western nation.
So finally, what it was building up to.
Theresa May had building.
Theresa May was at least, like you said, May on the fence. But I mean, Trump is like the tower. So
Putting the rump.
Yeah.
Putting the rump in Trump. Yeah.
I think, I mean, coming from the entire fact that he actually, I mean, this is genuinely perplexing in the way that this is a guy who's been accused of, almost proven of sexual assault or describing overt sexual assault on a videotape, now getting elected to senior government positions of a country that prides itself on being very moral and in every way like true to itself, where everyone's like, you know what, he's a bad guy but he'll do good things. Once we give him power, he'll be fine.
And he just has access to about 16 nuclear warheads. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
And the other dimension in which people are consoling themselves is that he's so bad that this kind of stuff happens only once. Once you elect Trump, so many bad things will happen. Nobody like Trump will ever get elected again. So they're trying to desperately look for silver linings.
That's why I'm saying the Holocaust happened only once, so it's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
Although I've actually heard a lot of opinions actually saying that because of a lot of Trump's policies, the very people who voted for him are actually going to have a very hard time. For one, everyone wants Obamacare repealed, but 20 million people are protected by it who otherwise can't afford insurance. Mm-hmm. So what happens to these guys? Many of them have actually voted for Trump to come into power. Secondly, a lot of imported goods are actually going to become way more expensive because a cheap pair of sneakers, for instance, which is made in Philippines or China because of the low wages over there, if they are going to be shifted back to make jobs in the US, obviously it's going to be a lot more expensive. So a lot of the low cost that Americans are used to paying for a lot of things actually is going to become way more expensive.
In fact, funnily enough, this was what I was listening to a couple of interviews of, some people who were talking from the heartland of America, which apparently has voted Trump into power, where everyone just basically decided to take one peg on which they would make the decision of whether to vote for Trump or not. Like a lot of people in Heartland America just took the message of coal, that he will bring back all the coal mining industries in some way or the other. In some way, it's not too far away from India, where they're like, biryani milega. Biryani milega, or then you can, everything else is fine. And then now...
Biryani or Ram Mandir.
So they're all like, biryani milega kind of attitude. And now a lot of these people are actually now waking up and saying, you know what, I voted for Trump, but I don't want to lose my insurance. I want biryani, but I don't want to go under road roller.
Anyway, a lot about Trump has already been said, is still being said, so we will leave it for the cephologists to decipher.
I have Shenoy's first law of learning from elections. Namely, there is no learning from elections. That's the first. True democracy is just don't learn from the mistake, they just try to survive them. That's what happens.
That's very good. I'm actually looking forward
to... it's exactly that, right? Where people are in the UK, they don't have an elected government or a cabinet or anything, and there is no, the popular polls are saying there is no drive or there is no demand for elections at all. Like UK has decided हमने Brexit कर लिया, we did Brexit, and now we realize we have screwed up. So we don't want elections now. Like, you guys can manage for a bit, let us recover and like get our senses back, and then we'll ask for elections.
And Iceland has been managing for, randomly enough, has been managing for a better part of the year without a government.
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, think of it that way. If you removed government from Bandra West, what would happen? I guess only the liquor shops will be open till later. I guess that will make everyone happier. So it's practically the same.
And that, I think, is the best argument for lesser government that I've heard.
And as someone said, with every passing hour, our solar system comes 43,000 miles closer to the global cluster M13 in the constellation Hercules.
Wow, what did you read?
And still there are some misfits who continue to insist that there is no such thing as progress.
Wow.
So that is the real progress. Every year, every passing hour, not even year, you are 43,000 miles closer to M13.
Yeah.
Wow.
Personally, I think most people who are anti-Trump are anti-Trump because they didn't think he would win. Kurt Vonnegut, in one of his books, spoke about this. He said, beware of the man who works hard to learn something, learns it, and finds himself no wiser than before. He's full of murderous resentment against people who are ignorant without having come by the ignorance the hard way. So basically, I studied hard and I'm ignorant. Sala, you didn't study anything. You're as ignorant as me. How can that be fair? Yeah.
This, for some reason, reminds me of a very popular reaction by Indians to me. I'm sorry, editor, you're going to have to do a bit of work on this one, and I'm going to have to attempt Hindi. बचपन से ये हो या कोई कोर्स किया है. Anyway, all the good and bad things about President-elect Trump, we are still hoping that some miracle happens in the next few days. The good thing, he likes to wrestle with problems. The bad thing is, the only thing he considers problems are women. So,
in the meantime, our country went through a small little exercise in understanding how to manage their own currency called demonetization. One of the best things. I mean, a lot has been talked about demonetization.
I have never seen products worth 1,400 rupees be so popular before.
I mean, there are two things that that stick out in my mind the most when I talk about like the initial days of demonetization, when people were still grappling with this idea and people were still thinking that ATM jayenge to paisa milega. So those kind of days, where the first was one of the earliest tweets when Modi was probably still talking, he had not finished yet. One of the first tweets I read on Twitter was like, Delhi ke smog mein ganja kisne milaya re? which very aptly has summed up the demonetization move and everything that has followed since.
Not to mention Delhi's pollution as well.
And the second being where there is this, I mean, unfortunately again the audio medium falls short in describing this, is that there's a very awesome GIF that shows salary arriving it says people how they feel after salary arrives in their bank account, and there is a monkey that's trying to eat at a banana from behind a glass. I mean, these two are the most enduring images of the demonetization.
That's
move
one of the
that
most cruelly accurate depictions of the demonetization thing. It was audacious. It was very, very bold. And the jury is still out on whether it was good or not. So I don't know about that. But personally, I have really, really suffered because of that. Not because I had a lot of cash, but simply operational stuff. My workers need money. They want cash. They're desperate. They have nothing. The country is still mentally cash. It's going to take a really, really long time to change.
Yeah. To say that this was unprepared was a huge understatement. To me, what summed up demonetization the best was this cartoon. I forget who it was by, but it became very popular, where it showed the difference between Manmohan Singh and Narendra Modi's approach to economics, as depicted by both of them being surgeons in an operating theatre. This guy first, so Manmohan Singh first reads a book, and then he tears the thing open, etc., and he stitches everything back, etc. Whereas Narendra Modi, he just cuts it up, he takes all the organs and throws them out, and then he reads the book saying how to become a doctor or something. Oh, we'll be very lucky if there's a next episode of this show. FYI, we all stay in Kargar. And I think
also what took up a lot of Twitter conversations during this point of time was, Twitter conversations and pockets burning as well, was the Note 7s catching fire.
Literally the hottest product of the year 2016.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I actually saw where there were DGCA notices coming out with a brand name on it. I mean, if Samsung was not being dissed, they would be really thrilled. No, like our brand is being talked about so much. I'm pretty sure some very enthusiastic social media guy must have said, "Mar, people talking about us is through the roof now."
Yeah, we did an episode on why the batteries catch fire. Why we're still at risk actually of this happening. To date, Samsung has not released official statement saying why this happened. So we are all sitting with bated breath for that to happen. And CES is on as we speak.
In fact, one of the funniest things that so while Samsung's this entire problem was happening, I don't know if anyone's seen the Samsung, one of the other Samsung Notes, Samsung Galaxy Edge, I think, is on. They're running their ads like crazy on TV. And we were just watching it in an office and someone just quipped there like, yeah, when in a time when Samsung's phones are catching fire, exactly what we need is a water-resistant phone.
Water-resistant phone.
So, and then finally we ended up with something that was really promising for the world.
Bless you.
It was really promising for the world, which was the Paris Agreement, where we finally got all the world leaders under one roof agreeing to the fact that they will reduce emissions, and which was one of the most significant steps towards global climate change awareness. And so yeah, I mean, that was a great move, which was
the first time actually both the villains of the peace, US and China, agreed to it. It's like Tamburlaine and Genghis Khan agreeing not to kill people. They killed a lot.
I think these agreements fail because of the cities in which they are located. I mean, when people come there, they don't feel the need that climate has changed. I mean, you host in a city like Paris, obviously, I mean, the weather seems like just fine. Where was it before this Kyoto? I'm guessing Japan has decent weather. They should hold this in Marol. Like at
Mankur.
At Mankur. Yeah. No, Mankur has mangroves, so at least some amount of it's cool there. Like Chakala at 9 a.m. Like they should have the meeting there, like not even like in a hotel, like outside on the street. Then there are,
and they should put everyone up in hotels in like Sakinaka,
or in Delhi itself. So I mean, the moment they step out of the plane, they'll say like, okay, just give me the papers, I'll sign it, and they'll go right back.
There was this report on the air quality of Delhi, which some wag had titled as 50 Shades of Grey. Was the air quality.
50 Shades of Grey is a great way to sum up the year. Actually, it's not. It just sounded like a profound thing to say.
It's the profundity of the podcast anyway, Chuck.
50 Shades of Orange is what 2017 is called.
Yeah.
With that to look forward to, final thoughts and final message for our listeners in 2017.
Yeah, this too shall pass. Let's hope that 2017 will be a much better year than the one that's just gone past. It's an arbitrary sort of, period of time. So
in any case,
there's nothing, 16 was a bad year, 17 was a good year, whatever. But let's hope that the future brings something better. A lot of good things are happening, which we haven't covered really. But despite appearances, the world is becoming a more peaceful place. There is... there haven't been really major wars and nothing has happened, nothing, blah, blah, blah. So, there are good signs that 2017 will be better. And let's hope that really is.
And if it isn't, if it really goes as bad as everyone is expecting it to, then we will be kind of like the band on the Titanic that will keep you entertained while you slowly descend to your death.
How cheerfully put.
And Simplified couldn't be summed up better, actually. All right. Have a great new year, folks. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another topic to look at. And a good New Year resolution for you to make is, you're not going to lose weight anyway, so you might as well listen to Simblified, share with your friends, etc., etc. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, all your regular Android podcast apps. You can find us on Audioboom and stuff like that. You can find us on Facebook as well. Srikeit is at Srikeit. I am at Chuck_Gopal. And Naren is at PMO office.
Also masquerading at Chinoyan.
Chinoyan, yeah.
Happy New Year, folks.
Very
Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, take care and see you.
Tata.
Our podcasts bring all the boys to the yard, and damn right, they're better than yours. But you don't need to stand outside in the yard. Just follow IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We might be on Tinder too. Just go ahead and swipe right.